Greetings from Florida. Today we're going to repair a window regulator on a 2000 to 2005 Cadillac Deville. If you'd like to just buy these new, upanddownmainstreet.com. You're looking for a ferrule, a bead that's in the middle of your regulator cable. You need to have that on the track. If it's outside the track, around the wheel, as you can see it is on this one, here's what you're going to do. Pull off that green clip, pull that bead down, and then you need to restring that green clip. By the way, if the wheel is cracked, if the springs are rusted or broken, if the cable is making a crunching sound, you can't use it. Upanddownmainstreet.com. Buy a new one. So what you're doing is you're going to go ahead and pull that back, and you need to make sure that the green clip is not touching the white wheel or it won't work. And then gently, slightly bend back that metal retainer, that piece that holds it in. If you pull it down too much, the whole thing might not work. And then pull it up and down a little bit, make sure it's working okay, which it is. And now you're ready to start rebuilding it. Don't need that one. You're going to take off the bracket. There's a white tab right there. Right there. You're going to pull that out and bend it back like that to remove the bracket. And if that tab is broken, you can still use your regulator. It won't make that big of a difference. Once you get it open, carefully pull the wire away from the plastic. Now what we're going to do is cut with our Dremel a 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch right at the top, right there. That's where the wire that we're going to put in is going to go. We're going to reinforce this 3 ways. We're going to crimp the 2 metal posts that are right beneath that wheel there together after we get it back on. We're going to put in wire and tighten that down, and we're going to put a putty epoxy over this. Need some wire. This is thin actually. It's a 100-pound picture framing wire, but it works. You're going to double it over. A little bit thicker wire would be good. A lot thicker wire will not be good. You can't have it too thick or this whole process won't work. Multi-strand wire is going to be best. It's thin enough to work with. And we'll need to cut some off. As I said, we're going to double it over. And eventually that's the concept. A loop, and the cable on the regulator is going to end up inside that loop. We'll show you how. Put it back on. And that bead is what's going to go inside, back into the plastic part of the bracket. Just put your wire around that cable and then feed it into the bracket on both sides. And once you get it lined up, that metal bead is going to go back into the plastic. And if the white tabs at the top and bottom of that are still intact, you can put it under those as well. Tighten it through. And then you're going to use a pair of needle nose pliers to gently close that metal prong together. You don't want to close it too much, you might break them off, and you really could use those. It would be very helpful if you had those. So just gently, just enough. That's good. Next up, you're going to take your pliers and just twist this around 5 or 6 times. By the way, if you need a video on how to install the regulator back into your door, I have that as well on YouTube. Then we can cut off the excess. Just push that down a little bit. The epoxy putty is going to go over it, so that won't be a problem. Slide it up and down, make sure everything's working okay. You can use a couple things. Steel stick, quick steel. You can get them at hardware stores, anywhere. It's a 2-part putty epoxy. As you mold it together like clay, the 2 active chemicals form, and then you've got about 10 minutes to work with it. It stays soft for a while, so it's not a problem. And then it hardens quite nicely. It's a good product. Now we're going to put that putty in 2 places. We're going to open the bracket up a little bit again and put a little bit of it on the plastic bracket on the inside over the metal pieces. It deadens sound because sometimes you'll get a clicking sound when your regulator goes all the way to the top and bottom, which is that bead clicking against the metal cable. So this kind of deadens that a little bit and it makes it a little bit smoother. But the majority of it is going to go over the wire to hide the ugly truth. And it keeps the wire from unspooling. Should be great. And then a little bit of WD-40 Power Lube. Ultra Lube is a good product on the sides and especially on the springs as well. And again, if you need these, please, upanddownmainstreet.com.